Welcome to the Dr. Anne Marie Evers Show. The doctor is in the house. Do 2 affirmations and call me in the morning. Change your life one new thought at a time. Make your dreams come true. Attract that lasting, loving relationship, successful career, radiant health, and abundant wealth. Tune in to the Dr. Anne Marie Evers Show and learn positive ways to get what you want on www.contacttalkradio.com.
Okay, I'll do 4 minutes before I should quit. Okay, we're ready to go.
All right, on the count, down of 3, 2, 1.
And welcome to the Dr. Anne Marie Evers Show, where dreams really can and do come true. And I'm sure you folks hear this over and over. And it's very interesting because I'm always excited about what I'm doing. And right now I've been working with affirmations, of course. And I say, welcome to the world, a wonderful world of affirmations, angels, forgiveness, thoughts, mind power, creative visualization, angel cards of life, and much more. And today I'm so happy to welcome to the Dr. Anne Marie Evers Show my friend and colleague, Ruth Peters. And she's been a guest on my shows for many years and is one of my most wonderful and helpful associates who assist me with lectures, talks, workshops, and everything. Now, Ruth has taken and returned to one of her earlier work, and that was of helping people to guide them and give them hope. Right now, it's so important to give hope to people, and especially in this time in the world today, and everyone will agree with that. And you did these readings with cards of life, didn't you? We call them angel cards of life, Ruth. And you help many people to see the bright side or to work and to get through situations, didn't you?
Yes, I just used the cards this morning to help a friend make some decisions about her future.
Oh, good. And what the cards do, folks, they don't tell you exactly what's happening, do they, Ruth? But they give you ideas. And when you're doing them and reading them and so focusing, sometimes an idea pops into your head you never even thought of.
That's right. It was we both affirmed before we shuffled the cards to ask for the information that would best suit the client that I was talking to this morning.
That's so good, Ruth. And you know, our very own Cameron Steele, who operates this show and owns this show, he was very instrumental, too, many years ago in helping me get these cards of life going and helping me to, to get the type of look that they needed to have. And I really am appreciative of that when I think you do cards for people, because you need good input and good help. It's what we do all need. Don't you agree?
Oh, yes. The cards, the artwork is unique to each card, and they're beautiful colors, inspiring, and just really suited to helping people with decisions or ideas about where they might go in the future.
That's so true. And you know, actually, there are 72 individual cards. And those 72 cards, they have 12 sections. And you and I know that 12 sections, and I'm going to name them in a minute, but they take care of most of life situations, don't they?
Oh, just about everything you can think of.
So here they are. The sections are health. That's very important. Relationships. Now, this doesn't mean just relationships with, man and woman, man, whatever, whoever, marital relationships. It means relationships with everyone and everything, and with your kids, with your parents, with your friends. Even we're in relationships with everything in our lives, even our pencils. We're in relationship with them. So it's so important to really think about things. And then career is the third one. And then we have money, prosperity is another section, and forgiveness, and then fear comes along, and then love, and then happiness, children, beginnings and endings, self-esteem, and spiritual growth. I don't think we've missed anything there, have we?
I can't think of anything else. I think that includes most areas.
It sure does. And I just love the cards of life. And I remember one time I was sitting in my chair and I wasn't feeling too well. And I thought, oh, please, I need some help here. And I felt some energy coming from the side of the chair. And I thought, what is this? So I put my hand down, and guess what? I touched a card of life. It slipped down there, and it was the health card sending me energy. Isn't that amazing?
That was perfect timing.
Yeah, that's right. And then I felt better after that. So, and actually, you know the story, but I know our wonderful listening audience. And by the way, we're so happy to be here today with you all, and we want you to have an open mind and just learn something. And Ruth Peters was going to be doing some readings. And if you're interested to have a quick reading done or a reading, whatever, for the time being, until we get back set up the way we were, we just send an email to AnneMarieEvers@shaw.ca and just head it up Cards of Life, and I'll make sure that Ruth Peters gets it. And so that she can do it, and then you can call them back and do a reading over the phone, can't you?
Oh yes, that would be really exciting.
Yeah. Now I want to make sure you have the website, folks, to send it to. So send it to AnneMarieEvers@shaw.ca. Now that's AnneMarieEvers @Shaw SHAW.com. AnneMarieEvers@Shaw.com. And just send that to me, and then I'll make sure I forward it on to Ruth. Yeah, and that's a good way of doing it, isn't it?
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you did such a great job when you were doing this for people. You had quite a few people, but then your life changed a little bit, and it wasn't. You didn't keep on that certain way you were, so now you're getting back to it. So I think it's so exciting.
Yes, it is. Well, we all go through different stages in our life, and I'm looking forward to returning to reading the cards more often.
Yes, and making a little business of it, doing your own thing, and being
yes.
in control. And quite a few years ago, the Cards of Life were reviewed by Steve McCardle of Seattle New Times, and that was the New Times newspaper. And he said, when I first considered reviewing this deck of cards, I wasn't too sure about tackling another divination deck on the market. But I was directed to the website to try the Cards of Life online, which is a website called www.cardsoflife.com. And then he says, after a quick reading, I was so delighted with the surprising result that I decided to look further into these Cards of Life. Now you can see my hesitation about new decks, and my appreciation of traditional tarot comes out of my belief that symbols are used by so many people over long periods of time and have a way of building up something important for reading. There are so many new decks today, none ever has a chance of building this important inner nature. But then it might also be important for decks that open the doorway, and he puts doorway, for new users rather than promising that you can read a tarot card in 10 minutes. A check like the Angel Cards of Life may just be the way to open such a doorway. Isn't that interesting?
Wow, that really is right on the button for explaining how they work.
It is, and and Cards of Life on the go. One day I was speaking with one of my associates, and she volunteers in India and Africa. At the time she did, that's a while ago, teaching children how to grow gardens, learn English, and she said to me, it would be great to have some flashcards up that children could learn English, like for instance, some cards like whatever, dancing, walking, so they can learn English. So I said, well, I have some angel cards of life left over that don't make sense because there's one or two missing. And I said, let's look at them and see. So we spent a couple hours, 3 hours on the table looking at it. And what we did was I typed up the titles like happiness and sharing, love, dancing, having fun, learning, forgiveness, and happiness. I said that before, and health. And, really it was interesting that when I typed them up and we put them on the cards, the individual cards that were left over. And I shipped them to her in Africa. And she showed them to school officials in both India and Africa with the intent to implement these flashcards into the school system, which they did. I was very happy and surprised, pleasantly happy to find out. And it's my affirmation that the angel cards of life give hope and help wherever they go. Isn't that the whole thing that we want them to do, isn't it?
Oh, that's wonderful. I've been using them. I do some child care, and I use them in child care with saying just like you said, birds, angels, hands, whatever the image is. I've been using that to teach words to my little guy that's 1.5 years.
That's so wonderful. And think about that. And then you can, anybody, we do have quite a few single cards left over. And if anybody listening would like some, please just get in touch with me by just going to my website, my email address, AnneMarieEvers@shaw.ca. And that's AnneMarieEvers@shaw.ca. And that's my email address. I think I gave you the other one was my website. But when you're looking for Ruth Peters, please use AnneMarieEvers@shaw.ca, and I'll make sure she gets them. But this is so wonderful because the kids loved it because the cards of life are colorful. And so we just wrote over what the writing was on there and pasted happiness when they were looking happy together and friendship. And, with the 72 cards, there was a lot to use,
Well, the cards are uplifting. They're fun. They're beautiful, and they're just a card size. So anybody, a little person or an old person or any age person can use them.
Yes, just anybody can use them, and that's what is so beautiful about the cards of life, and they're unique. And actually, they're one of a kind, right?
Oh, well, there's no other cards like them. They're your cards. You were inspired to make them.
Yeah, and our Cameron Steele was the one that helped me pick up some of the pictures, so I'm so proud of that, And he used them, too. We used them with him to attract his beautiful wife, so that's really a testimonial, isn't it?
Oh, that's exciting. I met her. I met them at your wedding.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, that was not too long ago, and that was the last wedding, yeah. And, when my husband, Reggie, and I were vacationing in Hawaii, we met two ladies and started talking. And, they were sisters from some small town in the province of Alberta. So we were visiting, and then Helen started to tell us about her challenges with her rather nasty divorce and how draining it had been for her and the whole family. And she also talked about the fact that she did get a great deal of forgiving her husband and doing things that she had the best friend. She had a very best friend. And I said, oh, really? She said, yes, and I get advice every day from my best friend, and I really, love listening to what she has to say or what he has to say. And then she said, she was so surprised when she said, well, her best friend was a website. And then my husband, Reg, at the time, he said, what is the name of the website? And she said, www.cardsoflife.com. Look, I've got it written down. And she handed it to him, and Reg and I looked at each other, and we started to laugh, and Ray said, well, that's my wife Anne Marie's website. And she was so surprised and happy. She kept thanking me for creating that wonderful website and the angel cards of life and how accurate they were, and most of all, how they gave her much needed hope to keep on going. And that just goes to prove that really true, the old saying, it's a small world, isn't it? What's the chances of meeting a person from a small town in a different province and on a country holiday, in a different country, you know? And so isn't that interesting? So she offered to buy me lunch, breakfast, and dinner and pay my hotel. And I said, no, nothing, just enjoy and tell others that you did that. So she did. But isn't that an interesting thing?
Well, it's not surprising considering how inspired, they were inspired to you to help people with their life as it goes on day to day.
You're right, and that's true. I was actually given the cards of life by an angel when I was visiting a friend, and it was amazing how I got the numbers and the cards and everything. And then I asked for a sign, and I said, if I should print these and please give me a sign. Send me 3 people because I'd written just pieces of paper, and like I put, say, you start off with health and then career and different things like that. And so anyway, I had these pieces of paper written with these names on, and when my friend came back, she said, what are you doing, playing with paper dolls? And I said, no, I don't know what I'm doing, but every time I stop, my hand stops, and I stop doing things, but then I put my hand down and it starts writing again. And she said, wow. So anyway, she came home, and her friend asked for a reading of these papers, pieces of paper, all different sizes. And so I picked them up, and I was answering questions for her, and she said the words, that was the best reading I ever had. And I thought, wow. 1 person down. Now I think I asked for 2 people. The next one I thought, well, I have to wait to see if I get a sign from somebody else. Well, one of the lady's daughter's friends came over, and so she says, can I have one? And I said, okay. So I did a reading for her, and she started to cry and said, oh, that's so good you told me that. I'm so glad. So I said, okay, guess what? That's my sign. So you know what I did, Ruth? I went to the dollar store and bought $72 worth of cards, and then I cut out pictures. And I didn't use those pictures, but they were to give me the idea. You know how you get an idea that comes off from something? And so then I started using those and to myself, doing it. And then I thought, okay. Then I ended up going to the North Shore News and getting an artist to do them. So they're all hand-drawn. And that's why they're so unique, the cards of life,
Oh, they're just beautiful. I just love love looking at them, even if I don't need any answers. I just think they're beautiful works of art.
Yeah, and I just, I love them too. I love just to hold on to them. Sometimes I put one under my pillow. We can do that if we want to. We can do anything we want with them, And then there's one here she says, my name is Diane. I met you last year in Vancouver. I purchased a set of the angel cards of life, and they've been extremely helpful for me. I enjoy their purity and the happy energy they bring me. Isn't that nice?
Oh, well, that's what they do for me. So.
Yeah, you feel the energy, don't you? I mean, you really feel it going through your body.
It's, you can just feel it all through your body.
Yeah. And, another one was this really dear friend of mine, and she doesn't mind me telling this story, and she said, tell everybody how it worked. Anyway, she was having a difficult time with her divorce, and finally she had a court date, and she said to me, would you drive me, because I'm kind of nervous? And I said, of course. So I agreed to drive, and we stopped at the White Spot, my favorite spot, and I had something to eat, and she asked me if I would lay out the angel cards of life for her, and especially to see how their court case was going to come out with her. This divorce, this man had been trying not to be found, so he'd be served with the papers. And so anyway, the question she asked, she said, will I get my divorce papers today? When I did the angel cards of life layout, the answer was a definite yes. I really did not want her to be disappointed, and as I had some experience working as a legal secretary, and I felt obliged to say, that is really not really possible to get your divorce papers today. It has a whole process to go through once you've been granted the decree, unless they've changed it, I said. And she looked at me and she said, I never will forget, she said, Anne Marie, the angel cards told me I will get my divorce papers today, and I believe them. And I said, oh, I'm so glad. She said, I have faith. So we went to the courthouse, and I was attempting to park my car, and I wasn't having much success because it was a small parking lot under the courthouse. And I was thinking, I said, somebody please help me to be able to get to park this car. And just then, I said, angels, please help. And just then a very nice but slim man, not spud, and slim man came walking, and he opened the car door next door, which was his car. And then he came out of the car, scratching his head, and he said, I don't know why I came back here. And I said, I do. I said, you came back to help me park my car. And he looked at the space, which was right next to his car, and he said, well, he was thoughtful for a few moments. He thought, and then he said, I think I can do that for you. That is pretty close, isn't it? And I said, yes, it is. So he maneuvered, got the car parked, and we could both get out of them under the courthouse. And then we started to walk, and the girlfriend's name was Sadna. Well, Sadna and I started to walk, and we said, where are you going? And he said, I'm an interpreter for a divorce case. And I said, oh, great, that's where we're going. We're going up to the courthouse. And so then he walked with us, and we were walking along, and what happened is that we asked him what his name was. You know what his name was?
No. What was his name?
Win-win. Win-win.
That's funny.
You believe that? And so anyhow, he thanked him, and we said thank you so much, and it was really fun to meet him and talk. And then we went our separate ways, and Sadna did all the things she had to do, and I wasn't privy to sitting in every room they used, but I was to some. So anyway, I couldn't believe my ears. I was sitting in on this one, in the room there by the courthouse, and the judge said to her, she said after she listened to both sides, and she said, would you like your divorce today, dear? And she said, Sadna said, yes, and I get shivers when I tell the story. Yes, I would. She said, okay, and she whispered something to one of the court helpers in there. And then she said, you have to wait a few minutes, and we'll see if we can get a judge another judge had to sign it or whatever. So anyway, the runner went down and got it done, came back, and then she said yes. And so she got her divorce that day. I couldn't believe it. It was just so unreal. And she walked out with her divorce papers, just like she said. Imagine that.
That's a miracle.
And she had so much faith. Actually, she had more faith than I did. But I didn't want her to be disappointed, and come back without it, So, and then that's why I, said you might not get it. So I was trying to warn her, but she didn't want to be warned, and she didn't need to be warned,
Oh, that really is a miracle.
Yeah, I just love that story, and it's so good. And she tells it. She's always happy to tell that story too. And
wow.
Yeah. See, excuse me. I was just looking I've got so many testimonials here. I can't take time to read them all. This one says, your cards of life are uplifting and hopeful. All my clients just love them. And that's Leslie, and she's a reader in North End. And then every day when somebody writes, I pull one of the angel cards for that day's direction. Now it's become a happy and fun habit. I'm purchasing sets for my family and friends. And learning to read the angel cards of life for others and myself has been so rewarding for me. I just love them. Every home should have at least one set. Thank you for creating these superb spiritual and down-to-earth angel cards. Terrific job. And that was so nice, to get so refreshing to get the things that you create and go through that are helping others. That's what I like about it.
Yes, I think that idea of picking a card every day is a really good way to start your day.
It is, and it gives you direction too, doesn't it? Because for helping people along the way and what to say to it, doesn't it?
Well, I use them just about every day myself. I usually shuffle them and ask for good direction for whatever I'm doing that day.
And that's a really good way to start your day, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, because otherwise we can get thinking about not positive things, but problems that we have. So it's better to start on a positive note.
Oh, yes, and get up in the morning and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for all my blessings. And I know there are people right now going through such terrible times, and with the smoke and everything that's going on in the world, let's really, really work to stay positive, because when you're positive and I'm positive and other people are, it helps people think, oh, well, if they are, maybe we should be too, and to do the best we can, because, remember the serenity prayer, Ruth, the Lord help me to change the things I can and not the things I cannot, and grant me the wisdom. That's the way it goes, to know the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's a prayer that I use all the time, too. We can't jump into the world and stop all the fighting and things that are going on. And people say we can't say peace in the world. Perhaps we can't say peace in the world. We can say it, but they say it won't work, one man told me. And I said, well, I say peace in my world, and we can control over our world, but we can't control others,
Peace in my world is the best.
Yeah, I think so. And then you because you are in charge of your world, not the world, right?
Oh, well, we can only work with the community we're in, with the people we associate with. Yeah,
that's so true. And another one says, Dear Dr. Evers, when I visited your home for an angel card reading, I did not know what to expect. I was quite nervous. But as soon as I stepped out of my car onto your driveway, I felt a wonderful sense of peace come over me. Then when I met you and felt the angelic peace, presence of your home, I was totally overcome with love and gratitude, as you said. And she says, the angel cards, really for me, actually, I felt the words that you were saying resonating in my heart. And I'm sure you will remember I shed many tears. Those tears were tears of release. And that was Gloria from abroad. She was visiting and she came to see me. But that is so nice that the cards of life can have that kind of effect, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. I've had those experiences myself.
I know, and now you're going to go back and get back into the reading and give people, you're not going to tell what kind. You're going to ask them if they want a short one or a long one and go from there, aren't you? And things like that,
Yes.
So I'm so proud of you for doing this and so excited, and I want to be as much help as I can be, because I know the cards of life have helped so many people, and I have so many more testimonials that I'm not going to take time to read, but I just want to let you know that I'll help you all I can, because I truly believe in helping people, like I said, especially at this time, in this particular time of uncertainty in the world,
Well, I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you, and I know that it'll make a big difference. I
know it does make a difference, doesn't it, when we care about people and that. It really does. And so I'm just going through some of my notes here, and we're going to go for a short break, and we'll be right back after the break with more. And stay tuned, folks, and we'll be right back.
When was the last time you read a book that has created a profound impact on your life? This book is touching deep into the hearts of readers worldwide and empowering people with new hope to conquer over a life of despair, loneliness, and sadness. This book is called Affirmations Your Passport to Happiness by Dr. Anne-Marie Evers. In this book, you'll learn the power of affirmations, creating visualization, goal setting, positive thinking, self-esteem, learn how to attract the perfect, lasting, successful career, relationship, and have optimal health. To order your copy, log on to www.affirmations-doctor.com or email Anne-Marie Evers at shore.ca and get your passport to happiness. Affirmations, Your Passport to Happiness, the book that's giving people positive control over their lives once again.
And welcome back to the Dr. Anne-Marie Evers Show, where dreams really, really can and do come true. And I'm talking with my wonderful guest, Ruth Peters, and the wonderful card reader that she is. And I'm suggesting that if you have questions and you want to ask, just be sure and send that email off to AnneMarieEvers at shaw.ca and head it up to Cards of Life, and I'll know that's meant for Ruth Peters. And then we're going to get the others when we get a chance to get the things going. You'll have your own place to phone, and won't you, Ruth?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit, change the subject a bit, talking about the affirmation program that we go through. And you have been with me through so many years doing this. And when you think about it, 16 years of lecturing at Silver Harbor Senior Center in North Van. And I lectured at the hospital as well, Lionsgate Hospital, helping people that are overcoming, living with chemo and things like that, because I had that experience in 2013. And but the program that I've been teaching is the Affirmation Program, and it's built on quite a few things. And
so what are the building blocks? I think I remember you mentioning 5 W's of affirmations.
That's right. Oh, thank you yes, that's right. Yeah, the program consists of an affirmation program that I've been using for years and changing and updating it and going through different things. And I find out that this works really good for many, many people and myself. And what it is the 5 W's of affirmation. So what are the 5 W's? Well, it's simple. The affirmations are similar to prayers, wishes, or goals, only they're more structured and specific. And really, you know what, Ruth, to affirm is to make firm. And simply put, the basis of all affirmations is positive thinking. And it's also like a birthday cake. I ask you folks, if you ever had a birthday cake with candles, blown out the candles and made a wish, guess what? You have done an affirmation. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Well, it's true. You just have to think of your birthday cake, and everybody makes a wish.
Yeah, we do. And then and New Year's resolutions too, we do. And affirmations are something you can do year round. You don't have to have any time. You can do whenever you want to. So that's the what, and that is what affirmations are. They're also decrees too, saying what you want. And I like the way Dr. Lee Poulos puts it. He puts it, there are 2 ways of creating our reality. One is by just sitting back and letting it happen, or number 2 is taking action to change it. And so we have the choice whether we do that or not. And this is why I like to know that we can't change everything, but we can change the things we can. And it's so important when you're doing an affirmation. There's so many things to think about. You need to write it out, to write it on paper, because that's important. And you need to repeat it over and over again. And you need to have action words. And, there's so many. It's a whole situation talking about, how it works. And so I like to look at it as my goal, or my what I want to do to bring in more people, to help more people, to do different things, and to live a good life. And then,
so when is a good time to do them?
Oh, thank you for asking, because a good time to do it is first thing in the morning and last thing at night. And if you do it the last thing at night, then your mind has all night to go out and get the contents, whatever it needs, to make that affirmation affirm for you as affirmed. And one thing I really stress, and you know that because you've heard me say it so many times, to every affirmation you do, to say to the good of all parties concerned. That is one of the most important things. And not only that, but if you say that, it's to your good as well, because it affects you, the person doing the affirmation, the maker of the affirmation.
Oh, that's really important.
Yes. And one lady, remember, I think you were there, she said, I don't really want to do affirmations because I'm afraid they'll happen. And I said to her, well, what do you mean? She says, well, I'm not sure I'll want it after I've ordered it up. And I said, well, use the safety clause. And she said, what's that? And I said, just to the good of all parties concerned, and you're one of the parties. And she's been doing them, and now she's had great success. And you've been at my meetings for all these years, and you hear people that are standing up and saying affirmations that have happened. It's personal and group affirmations. And affirmations is simply ordering up what you want to happen in your life, to receive, or who you want to be. There's so many things that affirmations can do.
So you're sort of explaining why you would do them?
Yes, and why I would do them is to be specific. It is so important to be specific what you want. Because if you're not specific and you give a loosey-goosey order, you're going to get a loosey-goosey answer from the universe. And I believe you really need to be, say what you want. Put it out. Like, for instance, a person looking for a relationship. If say a lady is looking for a husband, and if she says, one lady just did it, and she said, I want to meet a man. Well, she walked out and bumped into her mailman, and he said, pleased to meet you. And she said, that's all I met. And I said, well, you have to be specific. If you sent an order in the days that we used to have Eatons and that, they would, if you said, send me address, they'd write back and say, Dear Miss Ruthie, please tell us the size, the color, the number, the price, the quantity. They'd ask all those questions before they can fill your order.
Oh, for sure. It has to be what you're looking for and not something very vague.
Yes, and that's why it's so important to be specific. Like the lady that did an affirmation, and she said, I'm driving across Canada in a yellow convertible. Well, then this is kind of a strange one to ask for, but she did drive a yellow convertible across Canada, but it wasn't hers. It was somebody else's. And she said, well, how come I didn't get one? And I said, what did you say? She said, I'm not able, but I now drive a yellow convertible across Canada. And I said, well, it came true. You did. Where does it say that you owned it? She said, I forgot to put that in. See how important it is?
Wow, so that's what made the difference.
Oh, yeah. And then we had a lady named Anne that used to come to our talks when Michael and I were doing conferences and that. And so she came regularly, and she kept saying, I'm so upset because my affirmation is not working. And I looked at her affirmation, and it said, her name. Everything she was doing was what we were teaching, Michael and I. And I sort of said, I don't understand, Michael. Can you? And he looked at it, and he said, no, I don't understand either. She's used this. She's done that. We checked every aspect. And, as she was walking out the door, you know what she said?
No.
She said, I really, really want that part-time career. So I said, come back in here. What did you just say? And she said, I want that part-time career. I said, give me your affirmation. So she gave it to me. I said, where does it say part-time here? She said, I forgot. But you see, what happened is every time she did that affirmation, her conscious mind says, no, you don't want that because you only want a part-time one, and it canceled it out.
Wow.
Do you see how important it is?
What a difference.
Yeah. So you have to be specific, And one lady was ordering up a grant to do some work for some, organization. She'd go to bed and say, I have my grant. And she ended up marrying a man named Grant. So she got a different kind of grant than she thought.
Oh, my goodness. That's quite
his name was
strange.
Grant. Yeah. So
now, how about you said, you've mentioned the building blocks.
Oh, yes. And what have, the building blocks. So that's, okay, that's number one of the building blocks. Thank you for bringing me back because I get so excited. The building block, what? What is an affirmation? I think we've said what it is, and it's your order to the universe, whatever you want, and be specific. And then the other one is like who can do affirmations? Everybody can do affirmations. You, me, kids can do them. I have an 8-year-old girl doing them, and she just passed away, but she was a 103-year-old grandmother that was doing them. And I have to admit, the grandmother at 103 or 104, she was doing mostly for the health of her family and her. But the 8-year-old was doing about getting good marks in school and friends and, all things that were applicable to her. And then we say where. So we have the what, we have the who, and the where. Where is, you can do them any place, in privacy of your own home, at school, while exercising, while walking, while waiting at a lineup in a store. You can be saying the short forms to yourself, and waiting for a friend to have lunch, or a doctor, dentist office. You can do them just anywhere you choose, as long as you don't do them in the car when you're driving, unless you're parked. You can do them when. And then that brings up back to the affirmations. We do have such a thing as a short form affirmation, because if everyone can't go around every day doing a long affirmation 3 or 4 times a day, it's very it would be take too much time from their other work. So I came up with what we call the short form affirmation, and the short form affirmation is taking 5 or 6 key words from your master affirmation and just saying them over and over again. And by repeating, you are actually, you repeat it over and over again. It becomes in your mind, and it becomes a reality to you as well. And so when you do that, so for instance, if you take let's take a person let's see, what can we do? Take one that wants to drop weight. I don't say lose, because when you lose, you find. And Lord knows I've lost and found hundreds of pounds in my lifetime. So you don't say lose. We say release, drop, something like that, because it won't come back that way. So say a person is doing, like, I am becoming healthier and healthier. I am becoming. And you see, if you say I am 100% healthy, like I did when I was taking chemo, I said I'm 100% healthy, and my mind did not take it, because my conscious mind says, no, you're not, dummy, you're taking chemo, and it canceled it out. So I changed the short form to say I am becoming healthier and healthier, right here and right now. And then I just changed it to healthier me now when I'm walking. And I can be walking and saying that back and forth, healthier and healthier me now. And I have no objection to that, because I am becoming healthier and healthier. But you see, to say something that's not true, your mind knows it's not true. You ever thought of that?
Well, I think you made the best of your situation and were able to use that short form affirmation wherever you went.
Yeah, and it worked, and I was so happy that it did. And so that is where and when. You can do them whenever you want to. But I recommend, and we do, Michael and I and you, recommend that saying our affirmation over and over, and I would say in the morning and at night. And just before you have to go to bed, and first thing in the morning, get up and say it. Why not,
Well, that sounds like a good recommendation.
Yeah, get up in the morning. I always wake up and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for the blessings I have received, the ones I am receiving, and guess what? The ones that I'm about to receive. Thank you, thank you, thank you, over and over. You know what I mean?
Yes, well, you've gone over the first section of your affirmations. How about the second area that you talk about, the 5 building blocks?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Ruth. But there's one thing I didn't cover was why. So we have the 5 W's. We forgot I neglected to say about the why. Why do affirmations in the first place? Why do them? Well, affirmations are done to change behavior, create a new habit, eliminate an old habit, and it gives you the opportunity to create your life how you wish it to be, to attract the things and people you desire. So isn't that interesting?
Well, that's a beautiful reason to do affirmations.
Yes, it is. And you feel better, too. You know, you get up in the morning and, oh, my goodness, and or somebody says something to you, an affirmation you could say is, cancel, that's not true, I'm happy. If somebody says, oh, you know, it's such a horrible day, look at it's raining, just say, cancel, at least it's not snowing or something, at least it's not ice blocks or it's not smoky as things are happening now, you know?
Well, we just have to take each day as it comes and try to make the best of it.
And live in an attitude of gratitude. You know,
that's for sure.
You know, one thing that's very important is giving thanks in advance. And my daughter, when she was 9 years old, she taught me that because we wanted to do something. And I said, well, we need to go over there. And she says, but I need to do this first, Mother. And I said, she said, Mom, I have to do it first. And I said, why? Why are you so, you know, can't we do it later? She said, but Mother, they already thanked me. And that taught me a lesson. Because they had thanked her, she thought, okay, I have to do it. You know what I mean? Isn't that important? So when we thank God, universal mind, whoever we believe in, and people have different beliefs, and for whatever our blessings are, I think it obligates the planet or people to give us more of the same. That's what I think. What do you think?
Well, I think it's really important to follow the suggestions you've given, and that will give you the best result.
And it sure does. And my sister calls me one great big affirmation. You know, but I love doing affirmations at work. And then we come to the 5 building blocks. The first one, would you believe the first one is forgiveness? Because
yes, that's a really important one.
It all starts with forgiveness. Forgive yourself. And you know what's a good thing to do in the morning? You get up in the morning, you look in the mirror, and you say, hey, Ruth. I say, hey, Anne-Marie, you're a mighty fine person. And then I love, respect, approve, and accept myself. And I say, just the way I am, and that gives me, I can change it whenever I want to. And I think that's so important to love ourselves. It's not selfish to love yourself in a spiritual way. I don't think it's selfish at all. Do you?
No, if we look after ourselves, then we'll do the same for other people. Because if we don't look after ourselves, we end up with poor health, poor work, unhappy life circumstances.
That is so true. I couldn't have said it better myself. And that doesn't mean to say go around proud and say I'm better than anybody. No, it just means to love, respect yourself, and a healthy self-love. And I think a little boy in the States, I was telling him something to do some forgiveness, and he said he couldn't because he didn't love himself. And it just hurt my heart to think of a nice little boy in grade 3 that said he didn't love himself. So we worked on that, and it really worked good, and his parents were so thrilled because we also told him to respect others as well. That's a part of it, you know? So
well, respecting others is really important.
It sure is, because if we don't, we have to have respect for others, and we give it, and then we should actually expect it back, too. So that's the first one. The next one is thoughts. Have you ever thought what you think about?
I have, and I'm starting to do more and more of it because I find that if I don't think positively, or when I do think positively, things usually turn out the best.
And they do, don't they?
Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah. And also, thoughts, when you think about, we have between 51, according to Dr. Lee Poulos, to 51,000 to 6,000 thoughts running through our mind every day. And think of it, how many are positive? How many are negative? And when you do that, you find out, wow, am I a positive person or a negative person? You know what I mean?
Well, hopefully we're leaning towards the positive.
We sure are, and we're teaching people. And then mind power is so important too. your mind, what you fill your mind with, what you read, what you listen to, who you talk to, and who you hang out with at your station of life or my station of life, And it's just it's so powerful. And we have a conscious and then subconscious mind. And I believe it's like the captain and a crew, that the captain is the conscious mind that gives the orders to the subconscious mind, which is the captain. And the captain gives the order, and the subconscious mind obeys. And like if there's a ship coming, the captain doesn't go to the thing and say, "Oh yes, it's a nice day." He says, "Change direction, ship approach." And immediately the crew goes forward and changes. They don't say, "How big is the boat? Is it a fishing boat?" They don't ask any of those questions. They just go ahead right there and do it. And that's, so be careful what you're saying to your subconscious mind, because really it doesn't know the difference between a real and imagined event. And you can make it so it's really real to your subconscious mind. It's really a wonderful study to do. And we've talked quite a bit about that over the years, haven't we?
Yes, so if we can go ahead and thank the universe for what's ahead, and then do what you've just suggested, that makes our life much more enjoyable.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. And then the fourth one is creative visualization, thinking, talking, acting in pictures. And, when you do that, you're directing what you want to happen. And creative visualization is a part. So we have the 5 W's, and we have the 5 building blocks. And then the other third
What's next after that?
Third section, and that's physical senses. We see, hear, smell, feel, and taste. And we
tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, when you're doing your affirmation, see it as coming true, and hear people saying congratulations, and then think about a rose, the smell you like of a beautiful rose, and think about that, or a flower, and then bring in that smell, and then feel how wonderful you feel, and then for whatever, what have I missed here? Taste. So take a drink of fresh water, or if you don't have water, visualize biting into a juicy apple to make sure that happens. And it works. The 3 phases are very important of the affirmation program I teach. So I'm so happy to share this information, and I'm so happy you were able to come with me on this journey, Ruth. It's been wonderful, and we're actually coming to the top of the hour,
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it's gone by really quickly.
It sure does when you're having fun. And they say when you're talking to people that believe similar to you, the same ideas, that time just flies, and it's certainly true, isn't it?
Well, every time I talk to you, the time goes fast, and I learn lots about myself and the world while we're together.
Oh, thank you so much. And, too, folks, please check out some of the websites. Just go to AnnMarieEvers.com and check out some of those videos, because honestly, folks, they're short. They're 3 to 4 minutes, and not only that, they're colorful, they're musical. Just go to AnnMarieEvers.com, ANNEMARIE, and then last name Evers, EVERS.com. And then also there's another one, selfimprovementtalkradio.com. And that's self-improvement and then talkradio.com. And check that out. Also check out cardsoflife.com. And there's another one, Anne Marie's with an S, angelchapel.com. And there's things about the Angel Chapel. And I have a real live one in my backyard, so it's really exciting. A live Angel Chapel, yeah. And we're going to be having some people come over on Sunday, and they're going to be in there. So it's exciting. So I'm just going to leave it, but I want you to talk a little bit about what you would like to say about the Cards of Life and inviting people, Ruth.
Well, I've been using the Cards of Life for many years, and I've tried to make it the purpose of reading the cards is to help people make their life more easier, more positive. And most of the people that have had their readings have found it helpful, and some of them have learned how to use the cards themselves.
Yes,
that's something that people who are listening today may want to consider, is purchasing the cards, because you can learn to read them yourself.
Yes.
For yourself and for others.
Well, you have done such a wonderful job and are doing. So, folks, get in touch with Ruth Peters, and you'll be amazed at what you find out. And it helps, especially during this time, and we want to be all the help we can to people, because we know people are going through a lot. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to my shows and supporting me and sending me letters and emails and phone calls. I appreciate everyone, and I tell you, I read everyone too, not always immediately, but as soon as I can. And please keep them coming, and I'm so honored that I'm able to share my information that really works. All the things we're talking about are proven things that have worked, and in every way, and I have so many testimonials too that I'm thinking about doing a page, several pages, or even a website just on testimonials, because there's so many of them, and they get lost amongst the things. And I just want to tell each and every one of you that just believe and say things are getting better. I'm doing the best I can. Be encouraged, encourage others, and just say thank you, and live in an attitude of gratitude. And it's just amazing how changing your attitude changes your life. And so I would encourage everyone to change their life that way. And I want to thank you, Ruth, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you are, and come and spend with us. And I want to thank every one of you for listening. And keep the emails coming, please. I read them all, and looking forward to it. And keep well, keep safe, and keep happy until next time. So we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, if you have a problem and you don't know where to go, just dial up the internet and listen to the show. Tune in to Dr. Evers, she'll lift your spirits high. Her affirmations lead you from the darkness to the light. Say thank you, thank you, thank you, believe with all your soul. When properly done, they always work, you know. Oh, just say an affirmation. Love, health, and abundance beginning to show. Oh, just say an affirmation. Show your gratitude and the blessings will flow. Oh, just say an affirmation. Love, health, and abundance beginning to show. Oh, just say an affirmation. Show your gratitude and the blessings will